Ooh, look at all these new parts. Before I put this together, however, I have to rebuild the brakes. Now, I actually had done this before I first started driving it. However, now is the time to show you guys what I did. So the car had been off the road for at least 20 years and the brakes were totally seized. I used the old grease gun technique. Just swap the bleed nipple out for a grease nipple and pump them up. It works very well. As you can see, these little pistons hadn't had any exercise for quite a while. Once out, I cleaned them up and dumped the entire caliper in some rust treatment. With a new rebuild kit, the pistons and seals all goes back together again. Finally getting ready to put the front suspension back together. Have the springs, most of the suspension parts back from powder coating, and yeah, plating as well. Nice sway bar, new sway bar end links, all that good stuff. Control arms, ball joints, new shocks. Rebuilt the brakes when I first started driving it and just ended up painting them, and they turned out quite nice. So yeah, it's time for it all to come back together. We're heading in the right direction now. This is a old 2002 strut I basically just have sitting around. It'll be a great reference to put all that stuff together. Oh yeah. Now when I send everything to powder coating, it comes back nice. I gotta unwrap this still. But everything I have to figure out which side it goes on, and it takes a bit of time just to organize everything. Laying it out I find is actually quite great. Ooh. Awesome. New brake lines and a new master cylinder. Freshly plated clips and new stainless steel lines. You'll notice I kept the old brake lines on. That is just to keep these holes plugged while the brakes were off, so nothing gets in there. They also make for handy little hooks while painting. So, double win. We got new brake lines right here. Plated, I don't know why this is so satisfying, but it's nice to have the original hardware. First step is to mount the rotor to the hub. Now the rotor actually sits on the back of the hub, which means you do have to take the hub and wheel bearing assembly off to change a rotor. Kind of a different design than most vehicles, but that is the way it is. I'm going to be putting a little bit of anti-seize on here, and then rubbing that in. I just kind of want this whole surface covered. So this goes on here. Nice. Gotta use my freshly plated Allen keys. Perfect. Before the rotor can go on, the shield has to go on first. Things nicely powder coated. This is very satisfying putting this stuff together. So there's two little 10 mils at the bottom. This is a TII strut, so it actually has a bigger wheel bearing and bigger hub on the front. And then this flat 13 goes on top. Kind of a special guy. There we go. Now that the shield is on, the rotor can go on. We're gonna put the wheel bearing in here and fill it up with fresh, clean grease. This needs to be very clean on the inside, of course. I always use wheel bearing specific grease, fresh, clean gloves. I'm trying to get lots in there. There's kind of a gap in between each bearing. It's a good idea to run it for maybe like 100K or whatever and retighten the bearings as well. Yeah, my theory is it's definitely better to have more than to have not enough. I suppose that's with everything. Just a little bit of dust that I don't want. Nice. It's ready to go on. You have this little bearing. Same idea. We're gonna put grease in But also kind of trying to fill this bearing up. Really run it in between everything. Then this guy goes on. There's a little cutout, so it goes on this way. And then your nut goes on. Perfect. So this is a 24 mil. So normally you tighten it a bit and then you loosen off, and that's just kind of to set the bearing. Coming along, new brake lines look good, all the plated stuff just Next step is of course to install the shock. The spring, little rubber caps for each side. This guy goes here. Oh yeah. Hey. This goes in here, but before we do that, I'm gonna put a nice layer of grease all over this. That's just so it doesn't rust in there. Now some shocks will actually have a vent at the bottom, and well, you obviously don't want oil or grease to plug that, but these guys don't. So after pulling this nut off, and this little sleeve reveals a new castle nut. So I got the old one plated, but I won't use it. The new shock came with a nice one, so it actually has a seal in it. It's a nice piece. After snugging that up, put this back on, and it's time to put these guys back on. The spring, well, it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm gonna put this in here. These actually fit really, really nice. Look at that, that's awesome. Then, is ready to go on. So this is a lowering spring, so it is actually going to be a little loose, which means I don't need a spring compressor. Yeah, that's all the way back. Makes life easy. Now, this guy goes on. So there's a bearing in here. I always put fresh grease, clean it out. These are original, but they're in actually quite nice shape. So these go on over top. Then there is a washer, a little spacer, another washer, and then finally the nylon lock nut for the top of the shock. Nice. You'll notice this guy is still loose. I can't tighten that until it's in the car and there's some weight on it. Otherwise, it's looking quite good. Oh, remember this guy? Ball joint nut was totally rotted in. So I just got it plated, basically because they dip it and it gets rid of all the rust and everything. And then the plating provides, obviously, some nice rust protection. Filled this up with some grease after putting the ball joint in, just so the next guy won't have to deal with this. I have a feeling I'm not gonna get those out. I'm gonna try torching them and just see what happens. A little before and after. That looks so much better. Nice new ball joint. I actually still can't believe I did get that apart. It's looking good though. So, after putting a little bit of grease, these go on like so. I was able to salvage the original bolts. They have a little hole for a wire to go through. Yep, had to do both sides. Now it is time to unwrap the control arms and front subframe. And with a snap of fingers, it is together. Super easy. Here is how it actually went together. Time for a little assembly montage. This guy actually has to go in before you put this on, so I just had to loosen that off a bit, hoping I can get this in, which is pushing this back a little bit. Nice. Okay, not a big deal. The subframe is all together and looking quite nice. Now it is time for the engine to be installed. It's as easy as putting the motor mounts on and the engine is dropped in place. The engine is placed on the subframe. Basically, I just resealed it and cleaned it up. It is now ready for the new 5-speed and clutch and to be placed back in its green home once again. Stay tuned!